Our next guests are the amazing SHSS professors. You guys know them, right? So please welcome Paula and Johathan Dupuy. Woo! Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for your time, for agreeing to do this. Woo! So, first of all, everybody is dying to know if you could just let us know how do we pronounce your last name?
I'm not saying. The deal is I can't pronounce any of yours. So as long as I can keep that game going, then I can continue to mispronounce your names as long as you can't pronounce mine properly.
So you just don't want to anyway like keep us. All right, we're gonna keep saying it the way we want it.
Continually to fail and embarrass myself in pronouncing your names. So
Oh.
I'm allowing them to continue to mispronounce mine.
Oh, that's very nice of you. But was I good when I pronounced that?
No, it's
No.
okay then.
Oh God, I practiced a lot though. But yeah. Anyway.
It was really close. It was good.
Oh, almost okay. So wonderful. So they were back to the box.
Paula hasn't learned how to pronounce it.
Oh, really? So Idris okay with that? Okay. So there were so many questions in the box, and by the way, the box itself is your student Aikumis. That's her idea. Let's give it up for Aikumis. She's amazing. So the box, thanks to everyone once again who wrote the questions, but there were so many of them that we basically had to change our script last night. They were that good, and so many things that students want to know. And the first question is also, how did you guys meet?
How did we meet?
Yes, how did you meet?
Might be a better story about how we didn't meet.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah.
I moved into a building in graduate school. We called it Melrose Place. It was shaped like a U, and all the balconies faced each other. And I moved into a building in 2009?
2010.
2010. She knows because she wasn't there. I moved in and she moved out. And I have photos of me hanging out in her apartment for a year. She was gone. And I just knew about this woman who was gone. And where were you?
I was here.
She
No
was in
way.
Kazakhstan for a year. And I didn't know much about you. And then for 5 years, we missed each other. When she moved back into the building, I moved out. And then I moved into one of her friends' apartments who had subletted yours. It's wild 5 years. We went to every party that each other went to, just somehow at the wrong time. She'd walk in one door, I walked out the other. We had the same exact friends, and then a week before she was gonna leave grad school, graduate, and move back to Australia, she was walking up a stairwell at a party where we had mutual friends, and I saw the most beautiful woman in the world.
Oh, that's so. Wow. So sweet.
We started talking that night, and 5 years later, we haven't stopped.
This is amazing. Wow. Like, is this a real story? Like, didn't make that up because knowing you're a writer.
She was actually, we had met, she was walking up, we started talking. She was actually moving back, she was coming back to Kazakhstan for 3 months, and then moving back to Australia, and I convinced her to stay.
Wow.
And somehow we ended up back here.
That's great. Wow, that's like mind blowing. Wow, but that's a really interesting story. Wow, you guys. So you lived there and there, and how come Kazakhstan? How did you end up here?
That was inevitable, I think.
Yeah.
I've been coming here for 15 years and always keeping my eye on what was happening here. So, yeah, this great job came up, and so we moved here. Yeah, and Jonathan had never been here before. So, yeah.
Well, you were an undergrad, and you
I was an undergrad coming here, working in
read an
archaeological
article.
projects in the mountains, yeah, reading who was writing about this country that was so hard to find information in English 15
Yeah.
years ago
Exactly.
for archaeology. And then I found someone, and then I just kept coming back and back. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
The details are a little bit better, too, for any student out there. Paula was finished undergrad,
Almost.
and almost finished undergrad reading scholarly peer-reviewed articles that we have a lot of our students read, and read one in English about Kazakhstan by a professor named Dr. Michael Frschetti. And as a student with this God's called him and said, hey, I want to be on a project, or I want to be in Kazakhstan, I want to go on a dig. And what did he say? So if you can get the money, get out here, and I'll take you on. And he went from Australia to Kazakhstan and a dig in Mongolia, and he ended up being your mentor.
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. It was basically like destiny, right? Just, yeah. And then, were you excited about coming to Kazakhstan?
I just didn't have any perception. I think that's the wonderful thing about Kazakhstan right now, is that it doesn't have a kind of reputation in the world, so there's no expectation of what it was going to be like. And Paul had never been to Astana before we moved here. All your experience was in
Almaty in the mountains.
Oh, Almaty, hey. Oh, that's amazing. Wow. It's just getting interesting. And moving on, can we please show the profile? So, Johathan, there's a very interesting profile of yours on the website.
It's all lies.
God, just look at that, just that's a lot. Look at that, just all the jobs. And the question is, so what would you say is the most experience of yours?
The most
interesting experience, the most exciting, let's say, because that's a lot.
Yeah, they're all bizarre. And I mean, I joined the United States Marines infantry at 118 pounds. I don't even know what that would be, and that's like 4 kilograms. And I'd never played a sport in my life. I didn't belong there. And then I talked my way into becoming a Harley-Davidson mechanic when I had never ridden a motorcycle in my life.
But how? How was it happening?
I taught my first creative writing course in one of the top universities in the country, and I had never taken a creative writing course in my life. I don't know. Things just work out, I think.
Wow. Even if you take a look at the DJ. Wow, DJ even. How?
Yeah,
Come. So.
I walked into a record store and I grabbed a bunch of records I wanted to buy, and the manager asked if I wanted a job. And I think by the selection I had.
Oh, what kind of music?
I was already working 3 jobs at the time, but I said, sure.
I see.
So I started working there, and then there was attached to it was a music instrument store. And running a record store, you start to get to know all the local DJs, and then you can buy equipment really cheap. And so I bought 2 turntables and a microphone and started throwing parties and started
just
DJing.
Like that, just like casually throwing
Yeah,
parties.
I opened up for all the big DJs in town, and then just started kind of doing it. And I got to the level where I was either going to have to devote myself to it or just, because you can kind of, everybody can pick up the basics of any skill, then you plateau or you start moving forward. And I sold the turntables, and now I'm here.
That is true. Wow. That's awesome. But so, were people actually coming here to your parties?
Yeah, they were crazy. Yeah, cops were coming.
Yeah,
Police showed up a lot.
That's very shy of you. But yeah, you were probably successful. And if you take a look at Paula's, your profile, it's even more intense, it's even more impressive, interestingly enough. And I've heard that you had an experience of traveling the world as an artist. Is that true?
That is true.
Wow.
I'd never had a plan, so I would just have a map, and I would look on the map and see what looked interesting, and off I'd go with my sketchbook and a bunch of pens and draw everything I saw. And I think back and think, wow, that just worked, and without a plan in the world, and met some just wild people and people running from, hiding out in caves on the coast of Spain, and from, I don't know what they'd done, and what else, running across the border into Portugal, just before the border closed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Bought a vehicle until it broke down and just left it on the side of the road and kept going.
Yeah.
Picking up
Amazing.
jobs on the fly, just random jobs. What was one of the jobs?
Running out of money in Morocco, so quickly jumping a boat back to Spain and an overnight bus to France, arriving in the morning and getting a job picking grapes in France, which just made it.
Intense. Wow, surviving basically. Wow, let's give it up. That's amazing. Like, what kind of skills are those? But everything seems so simple, like the way you're talking about it. Is it really that simple? Just go out there and be like, I'm gonna travel the world.
I think in the present, yes, definitely do that. Just don't tell anyone that's your plan, because they'll demand you need a plan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your dad still doesn't know.
He doesn't know half. No.
It's amazing. But also, I guess that would be interesting to know, because you were traveling solo, like as a female solo traveler, weren't you scared? Because it is a pretty dangerous world out there. Or it's a misconception, confusion, no?
I don't remember being scared.
Wow.
Would you do it now, though?
No.
Yeah.
Now I'd be terrified.
Yeah, and that's what I think. There's something about your age at the time and your ability to kind of be free and run. I mean, I still don't understand the full trajectory of what she did. I've tried to draw maps of it. It doesn't make sense on all these adventures. But at this age now, it'd be like, oh, no.
So, we could basically just recommend to everyone, while we're still young or something. You're young too, I mean. You're still... I'm not saying that you're not, yeah. But still, yeah. Okay,
now we want to play a game called Connect.
We're just gonna start.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, the first question is, who cooks better?
Oh, really?
Connect? Nice.
I was a better cook than anybody I've ever met in my life until I met Paula, and I just gave up.
Oh, it's
I've
just
stopped.
getting sweeter and sweeter. No way.
The next question, who has a more beautiful accent?
Oh. Both accents are great, by the way.
I get the sexy baritone now.
Oh, yeah, you can't argue with that. Who does the grocery shopping?
Yeah.
So it keeps... Oh, okay, so both of you.
She wouldn't let me. I would rather her just go, but she makes me go with her. You wouldn't want to go alone.
No, it's no fun by yourself.
It's fun. We go to Artyom, we go to kind of run around together.
Exactly, Artyom. Do you like that place?
It's a ball of chaos. And it can be amazing fun.
Who buys more useless stuff?
Who buys more useless stuff?
Thank you. Yeah. It's fine, yeah, no judgment. I mean, it's
In hindsight, yeah.
I buy more expensive things.
Oh, okay. That's great. Who is more lazy? Gotta be honest here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Once again, no judgment.
Okay, who's more demanding at teaching?
Demanding of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
students, you mean?
Yeah.
Strict. Oh. Do you want to any comment on that? Do you want to justify or it's...
I have smaller classes, and so I get that opportunity. I think it's amazing. My classes in undergrad were always 12 to 14 students, and I've been really blessed to only ever teach 12 to 14 students. They tried to raise them up to 16 this year, and I just threatened them enough until enough people quit to where I had 14 again. I'm being slightly fatuous. I have one class that is 19 or 20, but yeah, I took classes in undergrad that were selectively harder or just always in the off season. So I'd take History 1 in the second season, so it was always smaller. But I really like the intimacy of a smaller class, but it does allow me to get to know the students well and push them. I think I set goals that I don't think they can meet, and then push them, and a lot of them meet them.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Who loves teaching more? It's a weird question, but it's still.
Paul's a scientist. She's a researcher.
But I don't want to just research. The teaching needs to be there.
Sorry.
It's balanced. The next question here is, who reads more?
When I met Johathan, I've never met anyone who would sit and read. I would see him cycle through books in one sitting, and not finish them, but rereading sections.
Who has more friends?
We have the same friends. Yeah,
Equal.
I think we have the same. I mean, we have a kind of we've melded our life enough that all of our friends are now kind of collected. We kicked anybody else out there.
How can one become a friend of yours? I mean, weird question.
Graduate first.
Oh, that's okay.
Somebody just found me on Instagram yesterday. It's like,
Now a bit imaginary question. Who would survive on an abandoned island?
Oh.
Any comments?
I get lost around the block. Yeah, there's a reason why I've never gone to one of her excavations.
That's actually also a question from the box. Someone wanted to know who fell in love first. Oh. Yeah.
I knew on our second date that I was going to marry her.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Or stalk her.
Just like that. Work too.
No, I know. I had never met anybody so amazing. And I didn't know that somebody of her caliber existed. And I thought I was either going to marry her or find... She had set the bar higher than I had ever
Wow.
imagined.
Just, I basically, I don't know what to say, but it's so cool. Oh, yeah. And
Okay, the last question for this game. Who loves their students more?
Who loves this one?
Yeah.
yes. But it doesn't mean that Paula doesn't love her students, right? That does not mean that. You do love your students.
I love my students. Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
I miss them when they go.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so that's not too bad for anyone. Maybe your students are there in the audience. So. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the box question. Questions,
Oh,
yes.
these are the questions in
Oh yeah, can you please take a look? Yes, there are many. There were so many of them. And we just have to show this question over there. That would be the next one. So a student wanted to know, and we, by the way, we really hope that the student is out there somewhere in the audience. I'm just gonna read this. Jonathan, in class, I asked you whether you have an Instagram. You told me to send this question to the Tuesday Show. So do you have it? You do have it, right? You do.
Yeah, well, yeah, somebody just found it. I'm trying to remember if that's the person who just found it and friended me, too. Is she out there?
So you don't want to just like announce the, no? We're not doing that.
I think a lot of them found it because of the photo of the nomination went up, and so somebody tagged it with my Instagram handle on there.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Should all follow you then on Instagram. Do you want us to follow you in Instagram?
Yeah, as soon as you graduate.
Once again. Okay. The next question is, so someone, Jonathan, my boyfriend yesterday told me, and that's not me, that someone wrote, that he loves me, but today he is already making a wedding love story video with someone else, with his new bride. So he betrayed me in one day. And what should I do?
Be glad, right? I mean, that's awesome that you don't have to deal with that problem ever again, because whoever he's with has a real emotional wreck on her hands.
So just be glad.
Yeah, like you wash your hands of that.
Yeah.
That's a problem gone, like, because that's something you would have found out later. Yeah, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, Paula, how can students join your archaeological expeditions if they're not SHSS students? It's also a question from the box.
Oh, if they're not SHSS.
Yeah.
A lot of students that have come on the excavations were not SHSS students. And those people, I have to say, be careful if you do come on the excavations, because you may want to jump majors. And I don't know if you're allowed or not, but it's happened. No barrier. You just need to find me first.
Oh, that's amazing.
Come talk to you.
Yeah, come talk to me.
That's great. That's great that you're so approachable. Oh. So whoever asked this, please just come to Paula, right? They can do that. Yes, you're allowed to do that. The next question from the box was favorite things to do in Astana together. Favorite places. Anything at all?
To do an awesome hang out at our apartment. I think our apartment's amazing.
Oh, really?
We built a sanctuary. So what else do we do in town? I like the botanical gardens that started last year. I really love those, and I'm excited as that kind of emerges more. We've enjoyed a lot of walks around there because I miss walking a lot.
We tend to just walk and people gaze and.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and the next question is for Paula, actually. What do you usually do when you get mad at your husband?
I give him a kiss.
Somebody just yelled pineapple.
That's sweet.
I give him a kiss.
Oh, it's just, really, guys, something to learn from, yeah.
With a brick.
5 hours later.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect though, yeah. And where do you usually travel for vacation? Like any favorite spots around the world?
For vacation?
Yeah.
I mean, I really love Paris. My family's about an hour north of, from an hour north of Paris. And so we really love Paris and Italy. My family's both from France and Italy, and so we both like both of those. But we want to make a trip to Lebanon soon, where Paula's family's from. Paula's been, but we haven't been together. And so I think that's our next destination. But we want to travel around here more. We just haven't. And so there's a lot of places. Our new goal for this year is to find out where we can do kind of either quick train rides or quick flights from here that are without doing layovers. And so I just need to do more traveling around this area to explore it more.
That's very nice. That sounds exciting. Good luck with that. Wow. And the next question, also from the box, is 5 principles, or that is to say, rules of loving and respectful relationships.
You start.
Yeah. Just keeps getting better. Yeah.
Advice for people to follow?
Yeah. It doesn't have to be 5. Just yeah. No pressure. Just anything at all.
Nothing?
Nothing at all.
Try to smile regardless of the situation. That's my
Yeah,
first one.
so I went around before we got married and when I first got married and asked advice from people that had been in, people that were married that I respected. And I wanted as a wedding gift, what was their advice they could give us when, as a young couple? And I think 2 of the things I really remember that I loved was be kind. Don't forget to be kind. And that was a really big one. And the other one said the union first. Right, the union comes first, and it's not that Paula comes first for me or that I come first for Paula, but our union together comes first. And so we think about that when we make a lot of decisions. That our union together is a priority to us. So that means being together. That means if she got a job here, I was going to apply here for a job also. That we were never. I mean, that it's putting the union above everything else. And so you decide to do that when we get together. That we are together.
It's amazing. And I hope really that Samal was taking notes. Is Samal here or she left? I was just hoping that she was taking notes. And that student too who asked that, yeah. And the next question is to you, Jonathan. Have you ever been a member of a subculture, any kind of group? And I guess that since that question is being asked, then that should be yes.
Yeah.
Probably you.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you want to talk about it, or?
I think I'm always kind of part of subculture groups because I'm not part of any kind of larger group. I'm just being a fictionist, yeah. I don't know. I don't have, just all kinds of weird groups. I mean, it was a motorcycle mechanic. I just do these odd things. I get into these little niches for a while. Yeah.
And that's awesome, right? And someone asked that question, not me, so
Yeah.
because that seemed like a bit difficult too.
Yeah, I don't know what subcultures are. What subgroups are out there?
No idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe someone, right, but no idea, no.
Yeah.
Gotta be something out there, but yeah, you answered pretty clearly, I guess.
I mean, I grew up in the '90s. I had like cut off flannels and combat boots and listened to Nirvana while they were still alive, which I guess.
Were you rocking it? Like, do you think you were cool?
Yeah,
Like now thinking?
I did. I had hair down to here. And I thought I was cool. I now realize I'm not, and wasn't, and never will be. It's fine.
Okay, you're too hard on yourself,
It's
but
my
probably.
subculture.
You probably were. So before we end and let you guys go, we just wanted to let you know that besides the questions in the box, there were also some really nice comments. If you take a look at the screen, yeah. And students love you, and we know that you're nominated for the NU Awards, Professor of the Year. Woo! That's awesome. Yeah, what an epic photo, by the way. Yeah. Do you want to
Can we
read that?
address the question about why am I so awesome?
Yes, actually, yeah. Something. Do you want to answer that?
Why am I so awesome?
Yes, please.
I think I respect my students a lot, and I think that's the important issue, is that I do value their voice in the classroom, and I try not to take a priority. I do talk too much, I think, sometimes. But I want to create a class where it's their classroom. And so I don't lecture. My classes are seminar style where I want to present questions and let them talk, and then we argue. And so my classes are filled with students who do argue with me on a regular basis, and so we create an environment where we have a community, and we kind of, I'll teach the same class some semesters back to back, same class, and then I walk out of it and I walk in again. Done it sometimes 3 times in a row, so it was like the Dupuy Comedy Hour. It just got better and better, sometimes worse and worse. But the greatest thing I ever had was students in the dorm later that night from 2 separate classes arguing in the hallway, because the classes come to different conclusions because they're that open-ended, and they had read the same article, but they had different arguments about the merits in that article. And that was really amazing to hear later that the conversations existed outside the class, and because that's how it was for me as an undergrad. We had kind of got so excited in the class didn't end when the conversation ended or I walked out of the room. We had always walked out still talking about what was going on. And so I just try to tap into a little bit of that.
That's a long answer. Yeah, but yes.
I said I talk too much.
Yeah, that's why you're awesome, though. Yeah, that's the answer. By the way, yes. If you could just like look at the camera, is the camera out there, and explain why we should vote for you. That's
Why you should vote for me?
Yes, please. Why?
Because I'm awesome.
Yay! Let's give it up for the beautiful couple. Thank you so much for coming. Yes. And now, before we go, also there's going to be a performance by KaGan once again with the song Travel.
Я снова обжегся, это 8-й на неделе. Меня снова не нашли в деле. Да, пустяки, но страх в моем теле, что эти звуки всех на свете облетели. Но все это не важно, ясного мать. Просыпайся, за окном апреля май. Не понять, что же меня дожимает. Иногда не помогает даже мать. Как на голос и кадр не твой. Когда не брать эти траблы метлой. Это hometown, далеко не Детройт. Твой походон на персоне укроет. И вроде бы взялся так круто за дело, но снова под утро на мне так кладешь. Это твои мысли тебя же задело, что говорят все реже. Братка, могешь, я снова обжегся. Да, я так не хотел, лег на самое дно, чтобы поднять все брателлу, хотя сохранил за собою патент. Новый трофей, над ним спотел. Я приду к тебе проза новым битом. Напишу новый хит, железобетон. Заценишь потом, кто еще не готов. Сори, бро, ты же знаешь, я пишу только топ. Эй! Я пишу только топ, эй! Я пишу только топ. Я пишу только топ. Perception the top. Tuesday Show the top. И New это топ. Ахмед.